We try to figure all the angles, leave nothing to chance. I inspect the men to make sure they've got everything they need and nothing they won't need. I ask if they have any letters or identification on them. Lane tells me he started a letter to his wife. Better leave it behind. If Lane were captured with a letter on him, the aggressor S2 could add it up with other information. I check to see that each man has enough ammo, just in case, and that all metal objects, such as dog tags, are taped to prevent reflection and noise. We carry knives for silent, close-in work. Carruthers and Ellis get 2 grenades apiece, if we should have to fight. We carry rope in case we take a prisoner and have to tie him up. Carruthers forgot to blacken the back of his neck. When the inspection's over, I issue my order. I tell them as much as I know about what the enemy is up to, how strong, where located, the works. I fill them in on where our troops are and what they'll be up to. I explain what we're going to do and why. Then I tell them how we're going to do it. I run over the complete plan with them, as I did with the sergeant. I give them every detail of how we're going to case that village. I tell them I'll move out with Ellis when we reach the objective. I'll signal when I want any others to join us. I draw them a little sketch of the way the village is laid out. I give them the passwords and the radio call signs and remind them that we'll use the radio only when necessary. I explain that we'll use hand and arm signals to communicate for most of the way. But when we're crossing the river and probably at the objective, we'll use the metascope and flashlight with infrared filter. A series of long flashes means come ahead. The filter cuts out all visible beams, but the metascope is sensitive to invisible infrared light. A series of short flashes means stay where you are. I tell the men where our first rallying point is and how long to wait there. At the end of that time, they carry on under the senior man. I ask if there are any questions. No questions. We'll wait 30 minutes after dark to give our eyes a chance to get used to it. This is our outpost. They hear us coming, so they tell me to halt and identify myself. Lieutenant Waters, I say, with a patrol going out. The sentry tells me to advance and be recognized. He halts me again and says, Tom, softly, so no lurking enemy can pick it up. I answer, Collins. Then he asks me a couple of other questions about the states, just to make sure I'm okay. Everything as it should be. Now I check each man out. I tell the outpost we'll be back around dawn and to alert their relief. Now we're out beyond our own lines. We go single file when moving through this kind of close terrain. I'm third man and the sergeant's in the rear. We lift our feet high to clear brush and other obstacles that might make a noise. Then we lower them slowly, toe first. As the terrain becomes more open and control easier, we automatically take up a more dispersed formation, a diamond. This gives us good all-around security. In this formation, I'm behind the lead man and the sergeant's just in front of the last man. That gives us the best control. When we halt, we automatically assume the prone position because it takes us off the skyline and we hear better with our ears next to the ground. We go down slowly and silently, facing in our respective directions of responsibility. Crossing an open clearing like this, we spread out a little more. An enemy flare goes off. We flatten out, and to keep from being blinded, we don't look up. Hope nobody saw us. Okay, let's go. Carruthers has spotted something. Down we go again. I crawl over to find out what it is. Carruthers shows me. Good thing he saw them first. Aggressor patrol. Hope they can't see us. We fight only to complete our mission or keep from being captured. Silence really pays off. If we started shooting now, we might as well give up our objective for tonight. When we whisper, we're careful to exhale most of the air from our lungs, so we won't make a hissing noise. Okay, men, let's get going again. We're near the bank of the river. Now we've got to get across without the aggressors knowing. First, we inflate the rubber boats. While the men are inflating the boats, I move up to the bank of the river to have a look around. I scan the far bank in short, jerky movements, using off-center vision. When the boats have been inflated, we move to the river. We leave one man on top of the bank for rear security. Now, to distract the enemy and to cover any noise we might make as we cross, we get Battalion CP on the radio. Fire concentration 5. Now the aggressors have something to keep them busy up the river while we cross down here. First, Olson, Carruthers, and I go across. Artillery or no artillery, we make as little noise as possible with the paddles. I send Carruthers to have a look around. Carruthers doesn't see anything suspicious. He reports to me, so I get ready to signal the sergeant waiting across the river. Long flashes, come ahead. The sergeant's watching for my signal. He gets it, so he comes ahead with the rest of the patrol. Now we're all across. That wasn't too tough. I let battalion know we're across and asked to have the artillery fire lifted. We hide the boats, keeping them inflated. We may be in a hurry on the way back. Wouldn't like to hold off the enemy and inflate these boats again at the same time. Carruthers is still posted as security. He sees us coming, so he rises and we keep moving. Carruthers gives the alert and we go down. There's a plowed field ahead, maybe a farm. We can't go too near the farm. Might disturb the animals and give ourselves away. I decide to bypass it. Also, I designate another rallying point in our present vicinity. If we run into any trouble from here on and have to turn back, we'll take up positions at this new rallying point. As we near the village, we change formation so Sergeant Bedlow will be near me for special instructions. This is it, Hillside Village, our objective. Looks quiet, but you never can tell. As the others take up all around security, Ellis and I go ahead. Still seems pretty quiet around here. So we observe for a while, and then I decide to have a look around inside. Nobody home. Uh-oh, spoke too soon. Better signal the others to stay where they are. Stay put. hear them talking in their own language. It's all Greek to me. Glad I've got Ellis along. Ellis tells me that the truck was looking for a battalion CP. The aggressor sentry told him this is the regimental CP of the 20th. Now we know that Hillside Village is occupied by aggressor troops, and we know which aggressor troops. We also know which aggressor troops are in the woods around here. Most important thing to do now is make sure every man in the patrol knows what we've found out. Let's get back to them. Before we start back toward our own lines, we make sure every man knows what Ellis and I know about Hillside Village. Now, in case we run into trouble on the way back and only one man gets through, he can carry the information with him. Okay, let's go. When we're all ready, we start back. Carruthers sees something. Everything was going too smoothly. We might have known. Every outfit has a character like this. He would have to be coming back from the latrine just as we're getting away. The aggressor sentry yells something. Ellis says he's challenging us. I tell him to answer back that everything is okay. He thought he saw something in the bushes. I tell Ellis to let this joker know we'll kill him if he makes a sound. Ellis tells him we're risking our necks to bring him back alive. He gets it. He promises to be good, but he better not try any tricks. Lane says the bullet just nicked him. We're in luck, but we better get out of here fast. Even if we had orders to find out something else, we'd have to clear out now. That sentry may get suspicious when this Joe doesn't come back. We don't leave any evidence behind. Well, now we've got a prisoner to bring back. This part isn't going to be easy. Finally, we get back to the river again. The prisoner is towed behind the first boat. We don't leave anybody behind on the enemy's shore. Okay, we're back across the river, but we're still in enemy territory, so we can't afford to get careless. move cautiously. It's the home stretch, and we wouldn't want anything to go wrong now. Some distance away from the river, we deflate the boats. We let the air out slowly to avoid unnecessary noise. At dawn, we near our outpost, so we halt to get our bearings. Then we move on. The outpost halts us. He challenges me. I identify myself. He advances me. He halts me again. We exchange the challenge and password. I check each man back in again. It's the same routine as when we went out. Is that all there is to a reconnaissance patrol? Well, not quite. There are still several things to do. First of all, we turn our prisoner over to the battalion intelligence section for transfer on back to regiment, where he'll be thoroughly questioned. I also see to it that Lane heads for an aid station. The rest of us report immediately to the battalion CP. The old man wants to know everything, not only about the village, but everything we saw and heard. Is our map accurate? That contact patrol we saw, did we notice any insignia? How wide was the river where we crossed? How fast a stream was it? Were there any tricky currents? What would we estimate its depth to be? All we're able to tell them. Well, that's what reconnaissance patrolling is like. It usually starts when the patrol leader is told to bring back some information. After selecting his men, the patrol leader inspects them to make sure they have everything they'll need. He gives them as clear an idea as possible of just what it is they are to do. On the way out, the patrol checks through the outpost, verifying the challenge and the password. You adapt your formation to the terrain. Column formation when it's close. Diamond formation when it's open. You communicate with your lines by radio when absolutely necessary. At the objective, get what you came for. Make sure every man has the information, then clear out. You may have to fight to accomplish your mission or to escape capture. Try to avoid enemy contact, but if it happens, try to bring back prisoners for questioning. When returning, watch out for friendly troops. And give a complete report on everything. That's when your training and teamwork on patrol will really pay off.